You're ignorant. Don't worry, so am I. We're all ignorant in some way, shape, or form. But that's not exactly the point of this video. Part of me doesn't even know what the point of this video is, but I'm making it anyways. I recently just finished the show 13 Reasons Why. And don't worry, this video's not about the show in any way, shape, or form. The only reason I even mention this is because it's a topic at hand. And sadly, a topic that I know a little bit about. The reason why I say we're all ignorant is because I think of all the ways that we think we are right, that we think we know someone based on who they are, who they interact with, what they do, what they say. And sure, you can get a collective judgment on somebody based on that, which has some merit, don't get me wrong. But do you truly know someone based on these things? I don't know. I don't know what's in someone's head, what's in someone's heart, what they're thinking, what they want to do with their lives. I have a couple people in mind that are worth mentioning. Back in high school, I was lucky. I was lucky to have most of my family still be alive. I had not had to deal with a death throughout my entire school life. My first death was the loss of my great-grandfather, who decided that he needed to take his life in front of his apartment building with a gun. Now the sad part is when I used to think of them before all that, my great-grandpa and my great-grandma, I used to think of all the goofy stories of them, the funny sayings that they'd say back and forth to each other, and just the way that they were always together, and how my great-grandma was a little bit crazy in her own goofy way, and he always had to be right, and he was really smart. He helped build the Batmobile, the original Batmobile in the show, the TV show. My great-grandpa helped build that. But that's not the first thing that comes to my mind anymore. That's not the first thought that enters my brain. My first thought now is that he killed himself. Now, time heals all wounds, and it's true, so I think in time I've gotten a little less angry about it and a little less frustrated, but it's still there. I even still have his journal, and I look through it all the time, and I think that partially has helped me see him as a person and not as a dead person. There is sadly a second story, a little more fresh. And this is a little more sad because it's actually someone who is several years younger than me. Now, I'm not going to discredit any of my family. My family may be a little bit crazy. They may be a little bit set in their ways. A little bit, well, not even just a little bit. They're incredibly ignorant. I mean, there's ignorant and then there's ignorant. They're sadly the latter half, usually. A year ago, my cousin shot himself in the head. Seems to be a bit of a theme. This one sticks a little harder. One, because it's a little bit more fresh, and two, because I feel like there's always a slight bit of guilt. Especially because the last time I saw him, we were at the beach. And he was telling me about how all these great things were in his future. He's always had a hard time. He always had a rough patch of life. A little bit of substance abuse and always doing something to get himself in trouble with the police. But in essence, he was a good person. He was never one to hurt anyone. He may have done some stupid things, very stupid things, but he was never a person to harm someone. At least I don't think. At least I hope not. Again, you never know a person. You never know what they're thinking. But he told me one day, the last time I saw him, on the beach, he said how excited he was to get his life going and how he was going to do something great. He was going to get into the military, even though he's had issues with his muscles. Something to do, I can't remember exactly what his problem was, but it would have hindered him to get into the military. But he was working on it. He was getting training done. He had a personal trainer help him out as many times a day. He was getting clean from substance abuse. He was gonna get his mind back together, and he was gonna do something great. And I really wanted him to do that. Not even just for him, but for all of us. All of us who've had a bit of a rough patch and just needed something good to look upon. Someone who's had it really bad, and then was able to turn everything around. Sadly, the ending that I wish happened didn't. When I think about it, I always try to think, is there something I could have done? And I think to myself, how many others think that too? There's something that I could have done to help prevent someone from feeling this way where they could have been here today. What could have I done to stop this from happening? Maybe that's just what they were gonna do anyways, but maybe I could have said something. Maybe if something more. Maybe if I reached out, said hey once in a while, texted, called, Facebook, anything. But I didn't. I know that's not my fault. I know his death isn't my fault. I know it's not necessarily anyone's fault. But it's still there. That's still a bit of guilt. Especially after the last conversation we had about him wanting to change his life. And, you know, I said that was great. Only half believing it. But maybe instead of half believing, I should have just 100% believed him. And maybe that would have been the change. Maybe that was the butterfly effect that could have changed it all. It's human nature to judge people. I mean, it's part of survival, really, but sometimes we take it too far. Sometimes it's incredibly unnecessary. In this world today, I feel we are incredibly polarized. Even in our own country, in our own schools, in our own work. You know, someone says something and we immediately hate them. Oh, I'm a Democrat. Hate you. Oh, I'm a Republican. I hate you. That's not the way that we should be. We should be united. We should take in other people's thoughts. Take in other people's beliefs. You don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to believe in these things, but you have to at least listen. This hate, this anger, this loneliness, it's poison for us all. And sometimes when we judge and hate, it goes too far and things happen. Things like this. We all have to be responsible for our own actions. We have to take control of what we do. There are always other options. Family, friends, phone lines, text lines. You can go online and chat with someone. There's always someone who can relate to you in some way, shape, or form. You're not alone. None of us are. We always say we are. But there's billions of us out there. There's billions of human beings out there. And you're saying that you're alone in this world. We may not go through the exact same things in life, but there's someone who at least shares some of your stories, some of your feelings, some of your anger, some of your fears. And they're out there. Just gotta find them. Talk to them. Talk to someone. Because suicide is not the option. And I know that you can't save everyone, but I don't know. I'm hoping that this would get out there. If this saves someone, or at least spread light upon the situation, the topic at hand, then I guess that's all I care about. But just know there's options.